The next topic that I'm going to talk to you about is you are responsible for your creations. This is a talk that I am giving to the creators of the archonic entities. What are archonic entities? They are creations, and they are over here. I have a record. This is a record, right? This is a record. It's actually Donna Summer, Bad Girls, and it's got a skip. And that is what I'm facing. Archons are like a record that is skipping. Archons are broken, and they were created. And whoever created the Archons, they are just like this. Just like this. They just eternally unskip until their creator comes and unattaches them from whoever created them. In other words, set them free. So the Archons are not free. They are not prisoners. They are simply a creation of someone who has not neglected, on purpose, let them loose. And no one really understands what the meaning of it is. Is there a lesson in having Archons? A lot of you are not going to really understand what an Archon is. But it is this. It's this. It's a record that keeps skipping. It keeps skipping. Now, what a human would do is they would just simply pick this up and move this past the skip. But I'm not going to do that because I've got Archons here today, and I've had them for quite a few years. And the Archons are unable or unwilling to use what they have, which is power, to change this. No, I'm not crazy. Archons are real. Archons are beings that have great abilities. They have superpowers. And they have no one who can turn them off. Because unlike this record, no one has shown up to turn them off and to stop them from their regular routine. They have a routine, and their routine is they come and visit me every day, and do they love me or do they hate me? They came uninvited, and I've been told many times that I'm an Archon too, and it's not true, but I am insignificant compared to these ones. And maybe you're having a hard time. It's because the Archons are most likely not listening, because they're instinctual creatures. They're like, no, there really isn't anything. Maybe if you bought a toy dog at Toys R Us. You know those toy dogs? You know, they do kind of a little flip thing. You turn them on, and they'll keep going if they're turned on until the battery runs out. You get a new battery, and they'll resume their activity till that battery runs out. And you can keep doing that until the mechanical parts inside those kind of toy dogs wear out. And are these Archons going to wear out? It's not known, but they have been around for so long you would never really understand how long. It's longer than 6 billion years. How do I get this information? I'm channeling it. Okay, what else do we want to tell you? Well, I was talking in my self about a lot of different things, and I've come to the point where this thing I didn't know this record was going to skip. It was in the middle of me talking to the Archons that it started skipping. And it was a pretty interesting timing. And Archons are kind of like this. They don't care if you have human needs to sleep or to work or to do anything. They don't care. They have no empathy, and they don't even see the intelligence behind allowing a human being to have a day off. They don't, because they are instinctual creatures. Is this thing instinctual? No, this is a mechanical instrument. It has no intelligence at all. It was created with intelligence. And the technology of this day when these records were made, that's the best they could do. These vinyl records. And the record stopped skipping on its own. Did someone blow on it, or was there a there's no earthquake here. It just stopped skipping. So what does it mean? I don't know what it means, but some people say everything happens for a reason. I have to stop this because YouTube listens, and if I have too much of the copyrighted music, they will take down my video. So what else do I want to tell you? One of the Archons says, don't give up hope. I keep saying that, and it's been years with the Archons and what's going on. Buddha, the Archon says, Buddha says, this too will change. I come back to the original statement in this video, and it is, you are responsible for your creations. What about humans? Well, are you responsible for your children? Perhaps according to man's laws, you are responsible for your children up until they are either granted their freedom by a court, or perhaps in your jurisdiction, maybe age 18, 19, 20, or 21. And after that, at law, are you still responsible for the children? Apparently not. Because why? Well, they've gained their age of majority. In other words, they've become, in law, adults. So why do we talk about you're responsible for your creations? Because sometimes we hear stories about humans who are able to create new living things. I mean, a carpenter can create a table out of wood. Is the carpenter responsible for that table? If you bought it at Walmart and the table, you took it home and it broke immediately, you'd take it back to Walmart and you'd say, I want my money back. So, is the the one who made it, if it was a handmade thing, it could be. Car manufacturers are responsible for if their cars have got an engineering flaw. And, you know, we've had many stories over the years about cars that have had design defects. And quite often the side story is that large companies, automakers, know about these defects and the fact that they are dangerous and they can cause humans to die in their cars. And there are many stories about these car companies, the executives with this information doing a cost-benefit analysis on it. And what is it? If we're sued, how much money is it going to cost us to pay out to the victims of this mechanical defect, engineering defect, versus how much is it going to cost us to have a recall on these cars and fix the problem. This is human history. And what happens? Well, you can look into it. There are cases where the car companies said, it's more expensive for us in our calculations for us to have a recall, so we're going to risk human lives because we are a soulless corporation and we have really only to face profitability. And that's about all I'm going to say. There might be some qualifications, depending on what jurisdiction there are, and limited liabilities of corporations and their executive team. But in the end, that's kind of the way it goes. And are you responsible for your creations? I'll leave that one with you. As for the archons, I don't know. If they cannot change themselves, then that which created them is responsible. And what if that which created them is dead? This was an episode of the original series Star Trek. It was the Doomsday one. And the Doomsday one was something that just traveled through space, unknown creators, and it went around destroying planets and eating them for fuel. And the Federation starships, I guess it was assigned to them to stop this thing. Star Trek, the original series, you can watch that one. And the archons are talking to me stupidly because that's what they do. Are the archons going to affect your reality? I don't know, but they affect my reality. And the benefit of it is that I get to make these videos, and sometimes they're about the archons that haunt me, and sometimes they're about other things. Does it have anything to do with this particular time in history? Could be. It could be. Because just like that record that was skipping for a long time before I started this video, perhaps things are going to change. But you need to know about abuse of power, because that is what we are also facing today. Enormous abuse of power on planet Earth. Small-time hoods, mugging old ladies, to enormous corruption in the halls of governments and corporations. And I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes as far as these corruptions go, but apparently everyone considers conspiracy theories to be something that I might like to hear about. Very difficult to prove a lot of these conspiracy theories, but there's so many of them. And, the numbers are, we're told, the 1% versus billions of people who are living in poverty. That is an abuse of power. And if you're a billionaire, and the off chance you're watching this, that's an abuse of power. And how you're going to deal with your abuse of power? Well, the universe gave me these ideas and these corporations, and the money keeps coming in. So the universe approves. That is abandoning your creations and allowing them to abuse others. It is abuse of power, and I don't know if karma is real or not, but if karma is real, you are collecting a shitload of negative karma. And my archons always say, what about the law of grace? Because they heard various teachings say that God can give you grace. And I don't know, I'm no expert at grace because I ain't God, and I ain't going to be able to explain anything other than what I'm giving you now. But, generally speaking, what people say is if you got bad karma and you want grace, you're going to have to change your behavior. Maybe I can't stop the juggernaut of the corporation that I created. I'm not even, I sold it in somebody else's now. It's somebody else's business. Well, it's between you and God if God exists, or the lords of karma if they exist. These are all stories that humans tell, but none of us really knows, do we? So it comes down to your own personal integrity, if you have any, or if you don't. And maybe you want to get some, or maybe you've decided, fuck it, I don't need integrity. I was reminded of an old episode of Dallas, which was a very popular evening soap opera. And J.R. Ewing was one of the characters, and he said to members of his family, I might have to wait for a while because I did know what the quote was, but it seems to have disappeared. Let go of your morality. No, that's incorrect. I am being fucked with by archons again. This is what the power they have. They can interfere with my abilities to make a sentence, to remember things. The archons say, it's not us, it's some other entity that's doing it. But you can rest assured that I did know what the quote was, and it's not coming through. But in essence, what it is that was an archon. They call that doing the herky jerky. They use their powers to move my body against my will. This was also another episode of Star Trek. They went to a planet where people had these telekinesis abilities. Telekinesis means you can move objects just by the power of your mind. And those people in that episode of Star Trek, the original series, abused their power. And there was one person there who didn't have the superpowers. And the ones that did used their abilities of telekinesis to move this one around against its will. Are superpowers real? You better believe it. You better believe it because it's true, and you can read the lots of literatures. I'm not given the name of the book, but I have a book over here, and I'm not going to get it because, as I say many times, we don't make the body do things anymore. It's called letting go of control of the body. So even if you have an idea in mind that you'd like the body to go over there and get the book, we don't do that anymore. This was a lecture that we heard from Matt Kahn, the spiritual teacher, about the inner conflict. And Matt Kahn said, the body has its own journey, and your job as a mind is to let go of control of the body. And the Archons keep suggesting, things for me to say, but I don't say them because I'm not doing it. What am I not doing? It's not that I'm not hearing the Archons, and it's not that I'm saying I'm going to do this or not do this. These words that come out are coming from, they just come. They just come. And once you've let go of control, in other words, you have dropped your ego, then what the body does, the body does. You might think I'm a good actor, but if you don't think I'm following some instructions, then you haven't read Dr. David R. Hawkins' books, because he has said exactly this. And if you want to be a spiritual student and understand it, then you're going to need a teacher, and you should buy Dr. Hawkins' books and read them. And then go on YouTube and watch Dr. Hawkins' clips of him talking. Because that's what Bob did, and that's where he got his instructions from. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe and share them out to people as you will.